If you move away somewhere, people talk about the excitement, the beaches, the cafes, the opportunities, the new friends you'll make. But they don't talk about the Tuesday afternoon when you're walking through a city full of people and somehow feel completely alone. They don't tell you how weird it feels to be completely out of routine. Decisions that would have been so easy before no longer are. Stuff like, should I go to the gym? What should I eat? It all becomes so much harder when you're on your own in a new city. It might sound stupid, but I really don't think you can understand the feeling until you experience it. What's up YouTube, it's Ben, and today I want to explain why health becomes your anchor during periods of uncertainty, and why I genuinely believe looking after your mind and body is one of the most important things you can do when everything else is unpredictable. So firstly, moving city isn't difficult because you're simply in a different location. It's difficult because your entire mind and body is reset. Back home, you know where everyone and everything is. You know exactly what your week looks like. But then suddenly, none of that exists. Every little task requires more energy. Finding somewhere to buy groceries, learning public transport, finding work, meeting people, understanding how things operate. You don't realize how much mental energy routine saves until you don't have one anymore. That's why people often feel anxious when they move. It's not because they're weak. It's because uncertainty is mentally expensive. And I feel like people wait until they feel stable, until they look after themselves. I'll start eating properly once I find work. I'll train once I settle in. I'll fix my sleep after everything calms down. The problem is, life doesn't magically calm down. An important realization to make is that health is the foundation of all of these things. Not when I have a full-time job, today. And the answer is incredibly simple. You can control things like walking, training, eating well, and your sleep. I think if you prioritize those 4 things, you start to feel productive before anything else has happened. You feel like you've already achieved something for the day. This is so important to get you in the right mental state for success, because when you're sleeping 5 hours, living off takeaway food, and moving as little as possible, your brain interprets the world differently. Everything feels harder, problems seem bigger, and you doubt yourself more. That's not weakness, but that's just how the brain works. So when I'm in a new city rebuilding, I've created very simple rules. No matter what's happening, I protect my basics. That means every morning I get up and get outside. I walk and I expose myself to light. I need to move and then I train. Not because I have to, but because it reminds me of what I'm doing over here. The gym isn't just about building muscle anymore. It's reinforcing identity. Every session says I'm someone who keeps promises to myself. This may seem minor, but it's so important in the identity shift that you need when you're building a new life. Really, what this all leads to is an awareness of my brain. I'm trying to make my brain be in the best state possible by these habits to give myself the best chance of executing this opportunity properly. I find it so interesting because focusing on your health and mental health doesn't just solve your problems. I think it actually changes how you approach them. If you've had a bad day, you still have wins because you've trained and you've boosted your mental health. So even if nothing externally goes right, the day isn't wasted, and that's incredibly powerful because your confidence stops depending on your outcomes. It depends on your actions. Dealing with uncertainty has been a huge topic of this move, and I'm learning to become more comfortable with it. I think some people just hide uncertainty better than others. So I'm trying to accept that uncertainty is inevitable and it's about becoming someone who can operate differently despite it, and that's a completely different skill, and it's developed through repetition and showing up and courage. So, if you're watching this because you've recently moved somewhere, started a new job, or simply entering a period where life feels uncertain, I want you to remember this. Take it one step at a time. You don't need to solve your entire life today. You don't need the perfect plan or the answers. Just ask yourself, what can I control today? Maybe that's going for a walk, getting to the gym, going to bed an hour earlier. It may seem insignificant, but it adds up. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Peace.